Good day, colleagues and Belize. Dean here. This little video tutorial is just a response to some points raised by Melissa on using the editor. So Melissa, I've done a text reply here, but I shall also do a little video, obviously, to highlight how these features can be enacted in actually using the platform. So I'll read out the question so that you can know what I'm dealing with, and then we can see how I managed to fix it or address it. Now, as I said, this is a new platform, so the new editor component will be available in early next month. The quiz element will be available, should be later this month, maybe early next month. In the meantime, Melissa's first question was she was unable to center a slide share. Now what should or could happen is you'd click on your slide share and you click center and it should center it. But what happens is sometimes you're pasting code from SlideShare into this area. So we're embedding the code from SlideShare in here. So if you click here, you see the code. Sometimes there's compatibility, sometimes it's not 100% compatible, etc. An easy way to do it, if you're trying to type it, you could just simply center using the space bar. So I'm just centering it using the space bar, which works as effective as a tab. And I tend to delete the name at the bottom. So you have the slide share, you can center it. Use this preview button to just see how your note is looking and if it's centered. Okay? Right, that was question one. Question two, I tried to add bullet points to some of my lists, but it became distorted. Well, bullet points work kind of like how they work in Word. Click here, you had a bullet point, type your point, and the next one of your point. If you're finding it's too much of an issue, you could create a new section for your bullet point. And that new section could simply be by way of a underline. So you have here a horizontal line. If I click on this, put the cursor where I want it to go, click on it, it creates a new section for me here. So this section is free from the formatting of the section above. So you could then enter your bullet points, and once you're finished, you could just delete the section. So it now becomes part of the previous section. So that could be a fault, simple way around it. The important point to note is that we are combining a number of different technologies onto our Notesmaster page here, okay? So this is not, bear in mind, it's not you're using Word and then you're pasting things in a Word fashion in a Word document. You are using an online piece of software that is built specifically to accommodate other bits of software. So sometimes it might work 100%, sometimes you might need to do some shortcuts. So that was the second one about bullet points. The third point is, are you able to center images in tables? Yes, you are. And that's also linked with question 5, which is you had trouble resizing images. So here we have an image that I've inserted. To select the image, click and hold the mouse and just move it across the surface. And that highlights the image blue. These squares in the corners, we can click and drag one to resize. So to show you that again, click on the image, keep the mouse clicked and just drag it so it highlights, release it, and then drag any of the corners so the image is then reduced in size. If you want to center an image in a table, so let's for example say I want to delete this column. So to delete a column, I right click, column, delete column. So I have this image in this table, and as you can see, my table by the little squares on the corners has been selected. So perhaps I now shrink my table, but I want my image to be centered. Now, if you note, align center is already selected. So what I need to do, that's because my table is centered. So I would need to uncenter my table, center my image, and then if I want, center back my table. So this is how we would do this. Click on the table to highlight it, to make it active. Click Table, Table Properties. Alignment, none. So we are removing any alignment from the table. Okay. We can then click on our image, Alignment Center. And that should, bear with me, center our image here. There we go. We can put the cursor to the left or to the right, and that should either allow us to go left or right. So we don't need to click on it here. It should, depending, it might freeze it. Okay, so let's click on it here, put the cursor to the left or to the right, and center. Now, if we want to put our table back in the center, let's click on it, click on Table, Table Properties, Alignment, Center. Okay, so we have our image in the center of our table and our table back in the center. Another question, Melissa asked, my first image has the copyright info on the graphic. So if you select an image that has copyright going across it, or that has any form of watermark, so if I, for example, write, select something like coffee, and select images, I see a lot of images. Now, if you see any of them with a watermark or anything like that, in this, I don't have any here, but if you see any that has a watermark or copyright going across it, then do not use these ones. Okay, they belong to someone else and they wouldn't want you to use them. So in this scenario, you can select any of these. Or you can select Tools, Usage Rights, Labeled for Reuse with Modification. Let's go with that one. And all of these I can now use. Okay? Okay, so that I think covers all of your points there, Melissa. Quizzes. You also raised a quick question on quizzes. So if I just bring your questions back into focus. Also, is the quiz interface completed? It's almost completed to be shared for you. Will the quizzes go in the quiz section or under the objective section? The quizzes will go under the objective section. So we will have a note and a quiz for every objective. So a resource or note, whatever you call it, or lesson, and a quiz. So you have an explanation of the objective and a quiz you've created. Until we tell you the quiz creator is ready, please focus on creating your resources, so the notes or the lessons. Please focus on creating those, and then when we've signed off the quiz creator with CXE, you're free to go. Okay? And then you've asked for a Prezi and Pixton account, so I'll set one of these up for you today. Okay, so I'm going to share this video, or have shared this video with everyone, so everybody can benefit from your questions, Melissa. So thank you very much. And if anybody else also has a question or something they'd like me to redemonstrate, just drop us an email and I'll do another another video tutorial for you. When the quiz creator is ready, another video like this will appear. Okay, thank you all very much.